Hey, we're back. Kim, Francis, and Tim. We are reviewing the season finale of The Walking Dead, Conquer. So we see a lot of things come to a head in this episode. Let's take a quick look at a clip.
What do you need to talk about, Maggie?
The meeting tonight.
Maggie, if we could talk about
I want to talk to everyone about what happened and what we need to do about it.
If it includes sending Rick away, it's not going to work.
Tell me what that means.
You let Rick in. You let all of us in. You talked to us. You decided. And now you want to put that decision on a group of very frightened people who might not have the whole story. It's not leadership.
Well, tonight is just a forum. It's just for people to say their piece.
And I'll make the decision as I've done since the beginning.
He was frustrated. The things he's seen, the things he's lost, the things we have all lost.
The things you've lost.
We've lost so much more.
Rick took a gun and he pointed it at people.
They deserved it. Anyway. Oh, Reg.
I'm looking
Poor
forward to
Reg.
reviewing this because this is fresh.
Don't look forward to it, just do it. It's happening.
We apologize that we've waited a little while, but we've been getting back together. So
this
is great.
episode primarily focuses on the build-up to this big meeting about what's happening to Rick's future. Does he deserve to be part of the group? Should he be cast away? Obviously, his group is staunchly defending him, saying, no, he deserves to be here. He's why we're here. You need him. You guys are weak.
But that is true. I do agree with what they're saying. But that Rick that they are talking about was the Rick of for seasons 1 to 3, I believe, and maybe 4. Like, he does do what has to be done, but this is not the same Rick that we are talking about now. This is a Rick that we just mentioned in the previous clip that's got very Shane aspects. And because Shane did protect the group. Shane did have a lot of the group's best views in his heart, and he didn't like when people started to become soft, which is now what we see with Rick maybe more so than what we've seen with Shane.
I disagree, actually,
No?
because this group has shown, in many times, failure in leadership positions, people dying while they lead, people being abandoned, people needlessly being lost, including Noah. Let's not forget how horribly he died, how it affected Glenn. Speaking of Glenn, he had a big turn in this episode, fighting Nicholas for most of it.
Yeah.
Again, irredeemable jackass.
But he seemed redeemable according to Glenn because he had the chance to kill him right there and then, picked him up and carried it on. What do you think? I don't know. I don't like him. There's no doubt. He's one of the most dislikable characters out there. But Glenn shows the complete opposite of what Rick has. Rick's given...
Do you think Glenn should be the new leader?
No, I don't know.
I thought Glenn was done last night.
Yeah, so did I.
He said, I love you to his wife,
And that was
which
it.
is
That's how you die on The Walking Dead.
as soon as you
tell
show
someone you love them,
some
No.
happiness.
and then you wander off
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah, and that's usually happens. But I want to get into the real core part of it, which for me was Rick's assassination or execution, whatever you want to call it.
Right to the end. Huh?
No, just
Right to the end of the 90
and then
minutes?
and then work our way
Yeah.
back
None of that
because
stuff matters.
like.
Let's remember, though, he was ordered to execute.
Yeah, ordered, but in a machine aspect. Do you think that Rick, when he had the chance to potentially save Carol from her previous husband, do you think he would have shot him back in that season in that instant without even a blink? He never even blinked. He just shot him straight, cold dead, the way Shane would have done if someone told him. That's why I'm saying this, Shane.
I don't think I agree with this Shane illusion.
I think so. I don't know.
I think he has some aspects. I don't think he is
No, I
as
don't
Shane
think he's
as you
Shane.
think he is. Firstly, Deanna asked him to do it. Secondly, he's been talking about this for many episodes. This guy is trouble. This guy is going to get you killed. He
This
literally
guy is
got
married
someone
to the
killed.
woman I want to have
Yeah,
sex with.
exactly.
Yes,
Really
that is
inconvenient for
also
me.
true.
That's the only thing. I don't
That's
think
the
he is
thing.
completely Shane, but I'm just saying he's got those slight aspects to it. But it was amazing because it was the one person who's not seen Rick in this transition process is Morgan, and he's right there. He just sees a Rick before it, and then he sees him at the
What
end.
a terrible impression.
Yeah, he's like,
Morgan will
and
remember that.
Yeah, and it was that one line. He was just like, Rick, like, is that you?
Covered in blood.
Yeah.
He's just shot a man.
In front of dozens of witnesses.
That's not the
Nothing.
best impression he could have done for
But the
Morgan.
world needs Rick Grimes. It's on my map.
Yeah.
That's what I was going towards.
Yeah,
I still think there is very much a space for Rick Grimes in this world.
of course.
Even though you think he's doing it for that lady.
I
He
thought there was a
is,
space
but
for
there's
Shane. I thought it was.
So we finally get a little payoff, and it's just the smallest taste of the wolves.
Yeah.
This is
I
an
was
adversary.
hoping we get more.
Right. So in actuality, the wolves are next season's adversaries, and they've just been teasing us this whole time with just little bits and pieces. We finally meet one. We see what they're about. We see what they're up to.
I'm a little bit confused about what they were about. So they've definitely made this trap with
Yes.
walkers in it.
And I'm sure it's not their only one.
Oh, I'm sure there's more.
They entice people to dance with the wolves.
Francis,
joke.
be ashamed of yourself.
Get a dance music.
What is,
No, yeah.
what is their goal?
Dances with
I mean,
wolves. I got it.
Yes,
It's a Kevin
you got
Costner
it.
movie.
It's
I'm with you.
awesome joke.
Right.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
So we see this one approach Morgan like, I'm going to take all your stuff and you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Also, I miss movies and talking to people.
How
is that-
This is nice.
How was that trap meant to like keep people? It just seemed like a trap meant to kill people.
Do
Do they want people on their side or as their prisoners? Do they want to just annihilate everyone who's not them?
From what I understood, they use a herd or multiple herds of walkers as traps. So they didn't want to capture Morgan; they just wanted to turn him into a walker. And
I feel it's more of a game, yeah, because you've seen previously in the episode when the girl was tied to the tree, right? And she was recently just decapitated by zombies. They tied her up there and left a W, so it's more sadistic than anything else. We've seen cannibals, we've seen cold blood killers. Now what do you want? We're just going to have someone who's sadistic that is kind of got that. They somewhat maybe respect the walkers because they're using them to their own ability. Because they don't seem to be killing walkers, they're killing people using walkers.
We get that little story about the wolves and how they were hunted to extinction,
Yeah.
and now they're returning, and everything gets to return in this post-apocalyptic world.
How many wolves are there? Because I got the feeling when Aaron was explaining about these people that they had set adrift, a cast from the Alexandria group,
Yeah.
that he named them. So I'm sure that those people joined the wolves or started the wolves. Or there'll be at least be an issue later.
I wouldn't
It's
be
just weird
surprised
he
if we
gave them
met
a
those
name.
people again, whether or not they are the wolves or not. We know of at least two. They don't have names yet. But I imagine, based on the size of the traps they have and what the reach that we've seen for them, there's quite a few of them.
Yeah, I can imagine. And can we just state that we talked about it a little bit. I'm glad that we had our problems on whether we didn't see enough of the wolves. I'm kind of glad that they left it to the next season because then I can regroup and just kind of get used to The Walking Dead not being around. And then when it comes back in, right, we've got another group of antagonists. I just think it would be too soon to have them in the one season when you've just had the hospital antagonists.
As long as it's not like it was with the cannibals where you're done in 2 episodes.
Yes.
I
that's
liked
true.
that at the time, but that's because they didn't tease
now
cannibals
yeah,
for
now
a
they've-
whole season.
now they've done it.
Now I need
I would
a
have
season
liked
of
to have
wolves.
seen a little bit more from them. I mean, we just saw more build-up. It's been a whole season of build-up, and the final episode
Yeah.
is more build-up. But what I want to talk about now is Gabriel and Sasha.
Yeah.
Okay, what is up with him? So did he leave that door open on purpose? Did he just forget because he's going crazy?
I think this was the weakest storyline of
Yeah,
the
it's a filler
90-minute episode. There's just the pacing was wrong with this one, and I think their parallel editing wasn't as strong as I thought it was. They were trying to build up this momentum for like 3 or 4 stories at once,
Yeah.
and every time they go back to Gabriel and Sasha, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't feel right.
It was just like there were 3 fights were going on simultaneously because it was like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So you had Glenn fighting because he was fighting to basically stay alive. You had Sasha fighting against
Or
inner demons
and then
maybe,
an angry Gabriel,
yeah,
and
and then you've got Rick fighting, which was just fighting against to prove himself to the group, and that was what I was a little confused, but I didn't think they needed the middle fight, to be honest. I just think that Sasha I understand she's going there she's seeking help, which is a good improvement for her character because she didn't want help before. She's now seeking some sort of refuge in the priest, and he can perhaps give her something to cling on to, but
He's
of
not
course
a
is so
priest
far
anymore.
gone.
He is of no use
he
to the
burned his
group.
little cardboard demon.
Yeah, that's
remember?
done.
That's
When you
a
do
foot
that, you're done.
taller.
Yeah, I will say that the cinematography was good with that
Yeah.
storyline. I liked the look of Sasha lying down in the open grave, although it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I liked the look of Gabriel out in the middle of the street, just waiting for death to come take him,
Yeah.
and then when he sees the noose, he knows that that's not the way for him.
I think the reason they had all these things going on is because they could re-emphasize the show's main point is like, are you too far gone to come back? Because you have Glenn, who has someone who should have killed, that he tried to kill him, that he probably should have killed because I don't trust Nicholas and he might come back. You have Maggie, who potentially has the right to just leave the priest to Sasha to kill him because she turned her back on him. If that was the idea, is it wants the viewers to think, if that's Rick in each of the situations, who lives? The priest doesn't live. No way, because he's tried to hurt Sasha. He's tried to hurt the group. He doesn't live. Nicholas doesn't live. Peter definitely doesn't live because Rick's in that situation. So that's what it's like. It's to see how many people are too far gone to the point that you cannot be redeemed.
Do you think
Glenn
this is a
and Maggie
story
are.
about redemption and hope, or do you feel more it's like just the juxtaposition of
I think it's what pushes the group to react this way, because we have Deanna who just doesn't want to.
She doesn't want to
believe
that
what
there's
you're saying.
this huge danger.
Yeah,
and
but then
it's there, and you can't just turn your back.
How
on it.
fast does her perspective change when she loses people, though?
When she loses someone
She loses
loves.
gloves. She loses her son. She can kind of. She's starting to change. You can see that she's starting to become more loose with what she's thinking. She then goes the opposite way and gets a little bit harsh towards Rick because she's thinking about taking some sort of action to get him out. But then as soon as her husband dies, she's in a similar situation to Rick. She's lost a lot, and she now wants to just place that anger somewhere. So it's definitely down to how far you're going before you can cling on to your humanity and you can be saved. Glenn and Maggie clearly still have some sort of hope in there because they've shown clear signs that they can allow people to falter and come back. Same with Abraham and Eugene.
Oh, that was a good
Abraham
scene, too.
says
I
sorry.
love that.
It's the underlying factor. If I'm right,
Oops.
yeah. If I'm writing a paper right now, that is my thesis statement. This is about who can be saved and who can't. And
Is there anyone who can't be saved?
I don't.
Because
I
it seemed
still-
to be very hopeful that there's a chance for everyone, even these despicable people who I think don't deserve to live, but they deserve to live.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? This is why I love it. It's very hard. I just think I think that Morgan coming in is gonna. You would think that this is gonna be Rick's savior now, because I think that people still don't think
think so.
that
Needs
people don't
a
thi-
moral
yeah.
compass again.
People don't think that Rick needs to be saved. But I think he clearly does. You can't just shoot someone with that.
I think
little
Rick
remorse.
is the farthest one off the deep end.
Yeah,
And I still
to when he
think
was.
he's normal. This is a problem.
Yeah.
In an otherwise good episode, the catatonic Gabriel walking through the gate and letting it bounce behind him is an unforgivable sin.
Yes.
Like, I get it that this community doesn't realize how close they are to trouble at any given time. And that wall is not a super, reliable
stable
wall
wall,
gate
yeah.
system.
Well,
but
it looks
come
like
on.
things will be changing come next season, at least around Alexandria. We're going to see more of the wolves.
Yeah.
Morgan maybe will remind Rick of the man he wants to be or feels he is and what's happening in reality. We will see that when it comes out in several months.
Oh my
Until
God,
then,
October.
Fear the Walking Dead is on its way, and we will be reviewing it. At least I will. I was the only one who was asked about it. See you later.